Have you ever noticed how some people seem to fall for someone almost instantly, while others take weeks or even months before they truly open up? Is it just chemistry, or is there something deeper at play? The truth is, feelings don't follow a fixed timeline, but they do follow a pattern. Attraction isn't just a random spark, it's a slow-burning fire that either fades or grows stronger over time. But what actually makes someone cross that invisible line between curiosity and emotional attachment? More importantly, how can you recognize when it's happening? Think of it like a lock and key. Some people fit together effortlessly. They click into place without any struggle. Others require time, patience, and the right conditions before that lock finally turns. The mistake many make is assuming that if someone doesn't fall fast, they won't fall at all. But that's not how human nature works. Some doors take longer to open, but when they do, they don't close easily. Attraction isn't just about looks, words, or shared interests. It's about energy. It's the way you carry yourself and how you make others feel when they're around you. Some emotions take time to build, just like trust. And those that take longer are often the strongest. That's why patience isn't weakness, it's power. Those who rush things often lose them just as quickly, while those who understand the rhythm of attraction become unforgettable. Here's the thing, while they're figuring out their feelings, your mindset matters. You can't sit around waiting, hoping, or overthinking. That's desperation, and desperation kills attraction. Instead, focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally draws others in, someone they can't stop thinking about, even when they don't understand why. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of attraction and the mindset that keeps you strong while fostering real emotional connections. If you don't understand how feelings truly develop, you'll always be stuck chasing what's fleeting instead of building what lasts. Trust me, by the end of this discussion, you'll see things from a whole new perspective. You'll walk away with the kind of knowledge most people never figure out. So, stay with me until the end because that's where the real insights lie. 1. The spark means nothing without the fire. Attraction happens in an instant. It's a glance, a feeling, a shift in the air when they notice you for the first time. Maybe it's the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, or the fact that you don't seem desperate for attention. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think attraction is the same as emotional connection. It's not. Attraction is nothing more than a flicker, a match striking against the surface. It can catch their eye, but it won't hold their heart. Feelings, the real ones, take time. They don't appear just because of a grand gesture or the right words at the right moment. They build through consistency, trust, and depth. They grow when others feel safe around you, when they respect you, and when they start to see you as someone solid, not just exciting. Think of it this way: attraction is the spark, but feelings are the fire. And fire doesn't appear out of nowhere. It needs fuel, warmth, and to be fed over and over again. You can't force it, just like you can't force someone to feel something before they're ready. People are intuitive. They can tell when someone is trying too hard. If they sense that your confidence is just an act, or if they feel like you're desperate to be liked, the attraction fades just as fast as it appeared. That's why those who chase too hard often end up empty-handed. A flame that burns too fast doesn't last. A strong person understands this. They don't panic when feelings take time to grow. They don't rush the process, demand answers, or try to control emotions. They don't get frustrated when things move slower than they want. Why? Because they know that anything real, anything deep, is built, not given. Imagine two people. One constantly seeks attention, always checking their phone, always needing reassurance. The other is present, but not overbearing. They let things unfold naturally. They don't rely on words to prove their worth. They show it through their actions. Who do you think becomes more attractive over time? People don't fall in love because they are told to. They don't develop feelings because someone is always available. They fall when they see strength, when they see someone steady who is not shaken by every small inconvenience, a person who is whole on their own. That kind of energy is rare, and that kind of person is unforgettable. And here's something to think about. Have you ever noticed how someone's curiosity about you builds when you stop chasing and focus on your own path? That's because attraction may spark interest, but it's confidence and consistency that truly deepen emotions. So, if you find yourself wondering how long it will take for them to develop feelings, shift your focus. The real question is, am I the kind of person worth developing feelings for? Because when you become that kind of person, time takes care of the rest. 2. They won't fall for you if they can't trust you. Most people assume attraction is enough, that if someone finds them interesting, the rest will naturally follow. But that's not how deep feelings work. Attraction might turn heads, but it doesn't hold hearts. Before feelings can take root, something more important must be in place: emotional safety. Without it, even the strongest attraction fades. Think about it. Would you fully open up to someone if you weren't sure they had your back? Would you trust them with your deepest thoughts if you didn't know how they would react? Of course not, and they won't either. No matter how strong the chemistry, no matter how much excitement is in the air, emotions don't deepen in an unstable space. Many get it wrong by thinking emotional safety means fixing problems, giving endless reassurances, or acting like a therapist. That's not it. It's about being steady, consistent, and reliable. It's about being the kind of person whose presence alone brings calm instead of chaos. Someone who isn't easily thrown off balance, someone who doesn't let small things shake them. This is why grand gestures, sweet words, or flashy displays don't work in the long run. If one moment you're confident and unshaken, but the next you're reactive and insecure, they will hesitate. They'll sense the instability, and their walls will go up. Once that happens, emotions stop growing. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." In other words, control over your emotions is power. People are naturally drawn to those who are not ruled by impulses, who don't break under pressure, and who don't let every inconvenience dictate their mood. Imagine two people. One is unpredictable, calm one moment but defensive the next. The other is steady and unshaken, the kind of person you always know where you stand with. Who do you think inspires trust? Who do you think someone will feel safe with over time? The irony is that the more someone tries to rush emotions, the longer it takes for them to grow. But if you focus on being a solid presence, on living in a way that naturally invites trust, their feelings will develop in ways you never expected. Not because you pushed, but because you provided something rare: stability in a world full of uncertainty. 3. Attraction opens the door, but trust lets you in. Attraction happens fast: a glance, a moment, an unspoken connection. But trust takes time. No one gives it freely. It has to be earned. Someone might be intrigued by your presence, drawn to your energy, curious about the way you carry yourself, but curiosity isn't commitment. Real emotions don't develop overnight. They need a foundation built on trust, respect, and consistency. Here's where most people go wrong. They assume that if the initial attraction is strong, everything else will fall into place. But that's not how it works. Attraction might get their attention, but it won't keep it. They're not just looking at who you are in the moment. They're watching how you move over time. Are you the same person today as you were last week? Do your words match your actions, or do you shift depending on what's convenient? Think about it like a fire. A spark might light it, but without steady fuel, it burns out. If your presence is unpredictable, if your actions don't align with what you say, they won't feel safe enough to let their emotions deepen. People don't invest in what feels temporary. They don't trust what feels unstable. Stoicism teaches that true character is revealed in consistency, in how you respond to challenges, in how you uphold your values, no matter the circumstances. That's exactly what builds trust. People pick up on it. They notice whether you react impulsively or stay grounded, whether you seek validation or move with quiet confidence. Trust isn't about making someone feel entertained. It's about making them feel secure. Imagine someone who starts getting close to you. At first, everything is smooth, daily conversations, solid plans, steady attention. But then, without warning, you pull back. No explanation, no clear reason. Suddenly, doubt creeps in. Was any of it real? Were you just playing a role? But if you show up consistently, if your words and actions stay aligned, that's when real trust begins. Trust is where emotions grow, not in grand gestures, not in perfectly crafted words, but in the small, steady moments where they realize you are exactly who you say you are. That's when they stop just feeling intrigued and start truly investing, not just with their time, but with their heart. So if you ever find yourself wondering why emotions aren't developing as quickly as you hoped, ask yourself this: are you building trust or just chasing attraction because one fades and the other lasts? 4. When it's deeper than just attraction. At some point, if things are going right, the connection shifts. It stops being just about looks, chemistry, or surface-level attraction. Something deeper takes hold, and that kind of connection doesn't happen overnight. No one just wakes up one day with deep feelings. They grow slowly through trust, consistency, and the emotions they experience in your presence. It's not about grand gestures or perfectly crafted words. It's about the small moments, the way you listen when they speak, the way you react when they're vulnerable, and how they feel when they're with you. Do they feel understood or just wanted? Do they feel safe or just entertained? Real emotions develop in spaces where there's security, not uncertainty. This is why attraction alone is never enough. Excitement fades, looks change. If there's nothing beneath the surface, the connection dissolves the moment the novelty wears off. But when there's something deeper, when they admire the way you think, when you challenge them in the right way, when you don't just enter their life but inspire it, that's when emotions take root. Think about it. People are drawn to those who stand firm, not those who waver with every emotional storm. They respect someone who doesn't react impulsively but moves with purpose. When they realize you don't need their validation to feel worthy, that's when they start to feel something real. Why? Because security breeds attraction. A person who is truly confident doesn't chase approval. They offer a steady presence, one that makes others feel safe enough to open up. This isn't about playing games or trying to control emotions. It's about becoming someone who naturally evokes them. Maybe at first, they're just intrigued by you. Then, over time, admiration builds. Eventually, they realize something else. They miss you when you're not around. And that's when feelings truly take root, but only if you've given them something real to hold on to. 5. Space makes the heart wake up. Ironically, one of the biggest accelerators of feelings isn't constant attention, it's space. If someone enjoys your presence but never notices your absence, their feelings won't deepen. But if they find themselves thinking about you, wondering what you're doing, and feeling that quiet pull when you're not around, that's when something shifts. That's when emotions start to take root. Many make the mistake of always being too available, thinking that constant texting, calling, or planning meetups will make someone like them more. But real attraction needs space to breathe. Feelings don't grow when they have no room to expand. They need time, distance, and moments of longing. People need the chance to process their emotions, to wonder about you, and to realize that your presence isn't just enjoyable, it's something they crave. This isn't about playing games, it's about understanding human nature. People don't value what is always within reach. If they know you'll always be there, always responding instantly, always making yourself an option, then where's the excitement? Where's the emotional build-up? If something is always present, it starts to blend into the background. It's only in absence that its true impact is felt. Think about a favorite song. The more you hear it, the more familiar it becomes, and eventually it stops feeling special. But if you don't hear it for a while, the moment it plays again, it hits differently. You appreciate it in a way you never did before. The same principle applies to attraction. When you create just enough space for someone to wonder about you, they begin to attach emotions to your absence. They start to miss you and to question what life feels like without you in it. That's when feelings deepen. From a Stoic perspective, this aligns with detachment and patience. You cannot force someone to feel a certain way, nor should you seek validation through constant interaction. A person who understands their value doesn't chase affection. They allow it to develop naturally. They remain centered, unbothered by whether emotions surface quickly or take time. They know that what's meant to be will unfold without force or desperation. Feelings don't grow when everything is predictable and easy. They grow in the spaces between interactions, in the quiet moments where reflection happens, in the contrast between presence and absence. If someone never has the chance to miss you, how can they ever realize how much they want you? The answer is simple: they won't. Clarity comes in distance, and true feelings only reveal themselves when space allows them to. 6. They invest when it feels real. When someone starts developing real feelings, they naturally begin to invest in you. It won't always be grand gestures. It starts small: a message to check in, a thoughtful question about your day, making time to see you. These subtle actions signal that you're becoming someone they value, someone they see as more than just another option. But here's the truth: feelings don't develop overnight. Attraction may be instant, but emotional connection takes time. This is where many make a critical mistake. They see the early signs of interest and rush the process. They start over-texting, over-explaining, and over-chasing, trying to lock in emotions before they've had time to take root. In doing so, they weaken the very attraction that was just beginning to grow. Imagine a fire. You don't dump gasoline on it the moment you see a spark, or you risk burning it out too fast. Instead, you let it build steadily, giving it air and allowing it to catch naturally. Feelings work the same way. They need space to breathe, time to grow, and moments to be missed. If you're always there, always reaching, always trying to pull them closer, they won't have the chance to truly feel your absence. And without absence, how can they ever recognize your value? A person who understands their worth doesn't panic when someone starts showing interest. They don't suddenly shift their entire energy, becoming overly eager or desperate for validation. They remain steady, the same person they were from the start, consistent, calm, composed. That stability is magnetic, because when someone senses that you don't need their affection to feel whole, when they see that you are content in your own presence, they are drawn even closer. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The same applies to attraction. You cannot control how fast or slow someone develops feelings for you, but you can control your own actions and your own mindset. Instead of trying to force emotions, focus on being a person of value, someone strong in their purpose, secure in their identity, patient enough to let things unfold naturally. Give them time to experience your presence, to feel your absence, and to recognize your worth on their own. When they do, the feelings will develop naturally, not out of pressure, but because they genuinely want to invest in you. Love built on patience, authenticity, and mutual respect is the kind that lasts. 7. Pressure reveals who you really are. At some point, they will test you, not always on purpose, not as a game, but because they need to see how you handle yourself under pressure. Developing feelings isn't an instant process. It takes time, experience, and most importantly, a sense of emotional security. One of the ways they figure out whether you're worth investing in is by watching how you respond when things don't go your way. Maybe they become distant for a day, not to push you away, but to see if you start chasing or if you remain composed. Maybe they casually mention someone else, not to provoke you, but to see if you're secure in yourself. Maybe they challenge something you say, not because they want to argue, but because they're testing the strength of your conviction. These moments aren't about manipulation, they're about understanding the kind of person you truly are. A weak person crumbles under this pressure. They panic when someone pulls away, overreact when they hear about someone else, or get defensive when their opinions are questioned. But someone who is truly secure remains steady. They understand that strength isn't found in emotional outbursts, but in staying centered no matter the situation. They don't let a single moment define their worth or dictate the direction of the relationship. Think about it. People don't just fall for someone overnight. Attraction might be immediate, but real emotions grow in the presence of consistency, self-control, and emotional stability. They might be drawn to your presence at first, but what makes them stay, what makes them feel something deeper, is your ability to remain grounded. Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." The same holds true in relationships. You can't control when or how someone develops feelings for you. You can't dictate the subtle ways they test your character, but you can control your response. When they see that you don't break under pressure, that you don't need constant reassurance, that you don't react emotionally to every little shift in energy, they start to view you differently. That's when trust begins, when respect forms, and in time, that's when desire deepens on a level far beyond surface attraction. Because real connection isn't built on fleeting emotions, it's built on resilience, on consistency, on an unshakable sense of self. This isn't about pretending to be indifferent. It's about truly being secure in yourself. When someone sees that you don't crumble under pressure, that you don't let external things dictate your internal peace, that's when they start to feel something real. Because at the end of the day, people don't fall for those who seek their approval. They fall for those who are already whole without it. 8. More than attraction, the feeling that just feels right. By now, if things have progressed naturally, something shifts. It's no longer just about attraction or excitement. It's about ease, that deep, unspoken feeling of "this feels right." Real connection isn't built on constant highs, it's built on peace. Attraction might spark interest, but it's the sense of comfort and security that turns that interest into something real. When someone feels like they can be themselves around you, without judgment, without pressure, that's when emotions start to take root. No one falls in love with someone who makes them feel uneasy. They develop feelings when they sense a steady, unwavering energy. This isn't about proving yourself with big words or grand gestures. It's about consistency. It's about showing up as someone who isn't controlled by emotions, someone who remains calm even when things don't go their way. That's real strength. That's Stoicism in action. Epictetus once said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." If you let every little thing shake you, how can they trust you to be a steady presence in their life? A person who has control over their emotions, who doesn't react impulsively, who remains unshaken by external chaos, creates an environment where feelings can grow. Because it's in that stability, that sense of certainty, that emotional attachment begins to form. Think of it like water. A stormy sea is exciting, unpredictable, and wild, but stand by it long enough and it's exhausting. The waves crash, the tides shift, and there's no real security. But a calm, steady river draws people in. It's peaceful, it moves with purpose. Even when storms come, it remains constant, and that's what makes it trusted. Now imagine they've had a rough day. Maybe the world has thrown chaos their way. Stress, misunderstandings, self-doubt creeping in. If you react to their emotions with panic, trying to fix everything immediately, you're just adding to the noise. But if you listen, stay composed, and let them feel understood, that's when something shifts. That's when they start to realize they can lean on you. And that realization is when emotions start to grow. Feelings don't follow a schedule. For some, they take weeks. For others, months. But the key is always the same: consistency and emotional steadiness. Not forcing, not rushing, just being. Because the person who remains true to themselves no matter what becomes the one they don't just like, but trust. And once trust is there, feelings always follow. 9. A spark or something real? Not every spark turns into a fire. Not every attraction becomes love, and that's okay. Feelings don't operate on a fixed schedule. Sometimes emotions build quickly, other times they take weeks, months, or never come at all. That's just the nature of human connection. It ebbs and flows, shaped by timing, experience, and even emotions. They don't fully understand themselves. A person with a strong mindset doesn't waste energy trying to control how fast or even if someone develops feelings for them. They know their role isn't to force emotions, but simply to be their best self. Imagine planting a seed. You water it, give it sunlight, and let nature take its course. You don't stand over it every day demanding it grow faster. Love, attraction, and connection work the same way. They develop in their own time, if they're meant to at all. Now, the big question: how long does it really take for someone to develop feelings? The truth is, there's no single answer. Some form emotional connections quickly, while others take months before trust and affection truly settle in. And sometimes that moment never comes. No amount of effort, persuasion, or chasing will speed up that process. In fact, desperation and impatience often do the opposite. They push people away. That's why a person with real confidence moves differently. They show up with presence, not attachment. They enjoy the connection as it is, without obsessing over where it's going or how fast it's moving. Their happiness isn't dependent on whether someone falls for them, because their sense of self isn't tied to another person's emotions. That gives them a rare kind of power. While others overanalyze every message, stress over every interaction, and exhaust themselves trying to force emotions, the person who understands their worth simply lets things unfold. If it's real, it will grow naturally. If not, they let it go, not with resentment, but with understanding. Because love isn't something you extract from someone. It's not a puzzle to solve or a prize to win. It's an organic connection that must be felt freely, not coerced. When you carry yourself with patience, confidence, and an unshakable sense of self-worth, you create the space for genuine attraction to grow, not through force, but through presence, not through chasing, but by simply being the kind of person they want to feel something for. So let go of the need for control. Stop worrying about how long it takes. Instead, Focus on being a person of depth, purpose, and emotional stability. When the right person meets you, they won't need to be convinced to feel something. They'll feel it naturally, and that's the only kind of love worth having. 10. Real love can't be forced. Love isn't a transaction. It's not something you earn by checking the right boxes, saying the perfect words, or making someone feel a certain way. True connection isn't built on effort alone. It's built on something deeper. The right emotions develop naturally, without pressure and without force. The moment you try to rush them, you strip them of their authenticity. Think of it like the wind. You can't grab it, you can't trap it, and you can't make it move the way you want. But when it blows in your direction, you feel it completely. Love works the same way. When someone truly feels something for you, they won't have to convince themselves of it. It will be undeniable. But if you constantly push, chase, or try to make them feel something, all you're doing is standing in your own way. That's where patience separates the strong from the desperate. Most people don't wait. They panic when things move slowly. They question every delay, and in doing so, they sabotage what could have grown naturally. But the person who understands their worth never rushes. They don't let time dictate their value. They live their life fully, knowing that what's meant to find them will never require chasing. And here's the truth. When someone starts to develop feelings for you, it won't be because you pressured them into it. It will be because in your presence, they felt something real, something they didn't have to question, something they didn't want to let go of. And that's the only kind of love that lasts. There's a moment in every connection where something shifts. It happens when you stop worrying about where things are headed and just let them be. When you stop trying to impress, stop trying to be chosen, stop trying to manage their emotions. The second you let go of control, you free yourself from the weight of uncertainty. Paradoxically, that's when attraction grows the strongest. Nothing is more magnetic than someone who is completely at peace with themselves. Someone who doesn't seek validation, but instead offers an energy so rare, so unshaken, that it naturally draws people in. Most people live in fear of losing interest, of not being liked enough, or of being forgotten. But the truth is, when you carry yourself with confidence, when you trust in your own presence, people remember you. They think about you when you're not around. They start to miss you, not because you forced it, but because your absence leaves a space nothing else can fill. So don't chase, don't beg, don't worry about how long it takes. Instead, focus on living in such a way that makes them realize on their own that they don't want to lose you. Because when that realization comes, it's not fleeting, it's real, and real love doesn't need convincing. 11. The strongest bonds are never rushed. The deepest connections don't happen in an instant. They aren't built through fleeting excitement or surface attraction. They grow over time, in quiet moments, in steady presence, in the space between uncertainty and trust. The strongest bonds are never rushed. Most people think attraction is enough. They assume that if there's chemistry, everything else will fall into place. But feelings don't follow a straight line. They take time. Sometimes emotions develop quickly. Other times they take months or never come at all. That's just human nature. You can't force someone to feel something faster than they're meant to. And when you try, when you push, when you pressure, you do more harm than good. Impatience kills what could have flourished. The urge to control, to demand clarity, to force emotions before they're ready, it all works against you. Feelings don't grow under pressure. They grow in freedom. They deepen when there is space to miss, to wonder, to reflect. If someone never has the chance to feel your absence, how can they ever realize your value? If they always know you're available, always waiting, always eager to prove your worth, where's the excitement? Where's the mystery? Imagine you're reading a book that rushes straight to the ending. No build-up, no tension, no reason to care. That's what happens when you try to force emotions before they're ready. The strongest stories unfold naturally. The most unforgettable relationships develop at their own pace. A person who is truly confident never clings to something that isn't naturally unfolding. They don't measure their worth by how quickly someone falls for them. They don't obsess over whether feelings are growing fast enough. They don't waste energy trying to be chosen. Instead, they focus on being someone worth choosing. That's where most go wrong. They think if they just do more, text more, compliment more, prove themselves more, they can make someone develop feelings faster. But that's not how it works. Love isn't a transaction. You don't earn someone's emotions by effort alone. The truth is, connection isn't about how much you do, it's about how they feel in your presence. If your presence feels steady, secure, and effortless, they will naturally start to invest, not because you pressured them, but because they want to. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." That's exactly what separates those who build lasting connections from those who constantly chase validation. The ones who understand their worth don't panic when things take time. They don't rush. They don't force. They simply allow things to unfold, knowing that anything real will develop at its own pace. Here's the paradox. The less you push, the more they feel drawn to you. When someone senses that you are whole on your own, that you aren't looking for their affection to complete you, they start to feel something real. Why? Because security breeds attraction. Emotional stability is rare, and those who embody it don't just attract attention, they hold it. Think about it. Who do people miss the most? The one who was always available, always giving, always eager to prove themselves, or the one who was present but never desperate? The one who brought peace, not pressure. The strongest bonds are never built in urgency. They are built in patience, in steadiness, in presence. The moment you stop worrying about how long it takes and instead focus on who you are, everything shifts. You stop chasing, you stop overthinking, you stop tying your self-worth to someone else's emotions. In doing so, you become exactly the kind of person they want to develop feelings for. Because when emotions finally take root, not out of obligation, not out of pressure, but out of something undeniable, that's when the connection becomes unbreakable. That's when love isn't just a fleeting moment, but something lasting. And the ones who understand this are never the ones chasing, they are the ones being chosen.